Good morning, everyone. Happy Supercharged Manifesting Monday. It is the start of another week. Oh my goodness. Every Monday seems to come on like a surprise for me. I'm always like, where did that happen? How did that happen? But here we are. It is the start of a brand new week, a brand new day. And I am besides myself excited for this conversation. We're talking about deservingness and money. And those of you that have been in my world for I'd say the last 3 or 4 years, you might know just how important this topic is to me. It's near and dear to my heart. It's something that I discovered personally and realized that it was the answer to everything. So we're going to talk about that this morning. Hey, Denise, all our friends joining. Good morning from all over the world, wherever you all may be, wherever you're watching from, whether that's Jamaicans.com, YouTube, one of our Facebook groups, wherever you might find this video. Hello to you. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is, whenever you're watching this. Just grateful that you're here and that we get to spend a couple minutes together in each other's presence. I'm really excited too because with this topic, I'm going into teacher mode, and I really love when I get to be teacher Tasha. So I'm going a little bit into teacher mode this morning. Hey, Denise, I love it. Oh my gosh, we have friends. And I love that you guys are all saying good morning to each other, because in the money family, that's how we roll. We kick the week off in each other's company, giving each other love, and setting ourselves up for being inspired and open and expansive and aware for the whole rest of the week. We're going to make the best of this week. It's summertime, and I know usually me especially, usually for the summers, I'm like off on vacation somewhere, just getting downloads. So it's a little different for me to be home these first couple of weeks of summer. But the one thing I'm realizing is this is a really great time to be introspective. We're not so much into go for work. So I want us to leverage this time by having this particular conversation that we're going to have this morning on deservingness and money. So if you're watching, go ahead. Hey, Kimberly, thank you. Kimberly, you took it right out of my thought. Start tagging friends. Start tagging and inviting friends, anyone that you know, especially if they seem like they have worthiness issues, because that's what we're going to talk about today, is the difference between worthiness and deservingness. So if you have a friend who's ever said, man, I just want to work on my self-worth or my self-confidence, I don't know what's going on with me, I just can't seem to break this limit that I have in my life, this video is for them. Go ahead and tag, share, do a watch party, all the things that we can do so that more people get this information. I'd be so grateful. Thank you for helping me spread the word. So this morning I want to talk about deservingness. And here's the thing. How did I come to even know about this? Because for most of us, if I were to say to you, do you have some self-worth stuff that you want to work on or you feel like you need to work on? Many of us would raise our hands because for whatever reason, we inherently know, oh yeah, I know I can see it showing up in my life. I see the patterns of behavior that I have. I see the way I allow people to treat me. I see the way, I am when it comes to money. And I just know I have some self-worth issues. So we'll probably always raise our hands when it comes to that. And deservingness, though, is really tricky. It's one of those things that we don't even know we don't know. And those things that we don't know, those are the ones that I would say cause the most challenges and blocks and delays things for us because we can't resolve it. I like to say, and you probably want to type this, I can't fix, I can't change. I'm not even going to say fix because we're not broken. I can't change. I can't evolve what I can't see. I can't evolve what I can't see. And that's the thing with deservingness. For a large majority of us, we can't see that there's a deservingness program at play, and therefore we can't evolve from it. And so just imagine you're doing all the right things, you're trying everything to create a change in your life, whether that's in your relationship. This morning, the conversation is around money. But I know what it's like to be doing all the work, to be spending hours a day, to be signing up for every program, reading every book, doing everything you can possibly get your hands on to create a change. And then to know that there's something that you don't even know it's at play, and that's what's causing it. I know what that feels like. And so that's why I want to turn the light switch on this morning around deservingness. Now, how did I come to find out about this? Many of you know by now, and if this is your first time coming across this video and seeing me, I am a mentor. The program that I teach and the body of work that I teach from is the science of getting rich. So basically, day in and day out, I show people how to manifest lots of money, how to recognize the things that are happening in their lives that they need to move beyond so that the financial desires of their life become a reality. Right? So in doing this work over all these years, I noticed something. There's some people, well, let me just back up. Everybody comes into the program and they all get the same information. We've designed this program. We give everybody the same everything. They have same me showing up for everyone. But I started to notice that some people got the information and they just started manifesting like with light speed. It would just happen for them way easy, right? And other people, it would take them time to shed the beliefs, to shed the worthiness issues, to do all, to just kind of like relieve themselves of the blocks that were in their lives. And I was really curious about that because ultimately everyone ends up in the same place. When the program ends and when life continues, everyone that did it, their lives are changed and they get results. But I was really curious about the way they were experiencing the process. Why was it different for some than others? And so I have like a scientific mind. I'm a true academic. I really go to the lab with things. And so I'm observing all this and trying to figure it out. And I wasn't getting to the bottom of it until I had a personal situation in my life where I had been in a 3-year relationship. And when I tell you, just for the time that we have together, I'm going to keep it really brief. And I want you to feel this. When I tell you it was emotional trauma, for 3 years, emotional trauma. You cannot even imagine. Every single day for 3 years. Finally, at the end of it, actually on our 3-year anniversary, I ran. And when I tell you I ran for my life, I mean, I fled the country. I literally got on a plane overnight, called up my friend, had her book a ticket, and fled for my life. I get to my destination and I'm walking out under the trees asking myself, how is this me? How is this my life? I'm an amazing person. I'm willing to work really hard. I show up in the relationship with all my heart. I do all the right things. How am I having to run away from someone to save myself? How is this me? And God said, Tasha, because you don't believe you deserve much more than this. Now, in that moment, everything that I never understood, I finally understood. Because my response to God was, no, what are you talking about, deserve? No. I know I deserve an amazing relationship. I have self-worth issues. Maybe. I definitely know I have self-worth issues. That's why I'm here in this relationship situation. And it was like, God was like, no, it has nothing to do with your worth. This is about what you believe you deserve. And you don't believe, at your core, you do not believe that you deserve more than this. And in that experience, I finally understood what was happening with my clients with money. It was a deservingness issue. And so that's the thing when I say deservingness is tricky, because we'll always raise our hands and go, oh yeah, I deserve a great life. I deserve money. I deserve lots of money. I'm a good person. I deserve all the financial desires that I have. I might have some self-worth issues around it. And that's why I'm not manifesting it. And I want to show you this morning that actually that's where you need a little more clarity. It's actually deservingness. you truly do not believe that you deserve it. And what I love is I have some amazing people that have joined me this morning that are going to get into the conversation. And I want them to share with you some of their personal examples of how this shows up for them. But I have some notes, and oh, by the way, I'm going to give you the chance to get all my notes at the end of today's video. I love it. You guys, you know, right? Every Monday morning at some point I see 111, and I absolutely love it. Thank you, angels, for being here. So I'm going to give you all my notes, so don't worry, hang tight. I really want you to listen in. And I wrote some notes to share with you, so you really get, when I'm done with this, you really understand the difference between worthiness and deservingness. So when you start telling people you're working on your worthiness, here's the thing about worth. In order for something to be worth something, let's say we're determining the worth of this marker. I, Tasha, decide the worth of this marker is $1. I put it out there in the market and I go, this is worth $1. Until somebody else comes along and agrees with me that it is worth $1 and pays me $1, then really everything hinges on this external, outside, somebody else, something else agreeing with me on the worth of this pen. Me sitting over here all day long going, it's worth $1, worth $1, until somebody comes along and is in my life experience and says they want this pen and this marker, and they're willing to give me $1 and agree with me that it's worth that, then really, what is it worth? I can say it all day long, but I'm going to need somebody else to validate this is worth $1. Here's where it gets messy. What if they come along and go, actually, I'm going to give you 50 cents for that? What happens to my self-worth? If this marker is my self-worth and I'm going out there and saying I'm worth $1 and somebody comes along and says, no, I'll give you 50 cents for it though. You can see how this is a slippery slope. And when I said last week, if you commit to working on self-worth before deservingness, you're setting yourself up to suffer. Because as long as you need somebody else outside of you to agree to your worth, then you're at the mercy of everybody else in your life and you have lost control. Does that make sense to you guys? Can you all type, I get it? Can you all type, I get it, so that I know? Because, I love to look. This is when I know that we're all on the same page, right? So with worthiness, you need to prove your value, right? Worthiness, if you look up the definition of worth, it includes to justify. Somebody has to say, I agree, and you have to justify you're worth this thing, right? So that's when you look at worthiness. It's all about somebody else outside of you saying, yes, I agree, you are worth it. With deservingness, it just is. It is your birthright. And I'm going to keep going into layers and layers and layers till you get this. So just keep hanging with me. Worthiness requires people outside of you saying, yeah, you're worth it. You can sit here all day long and say what you're worth, but somebody else is going to have to demonstrate to you that they agree with you. And then your worthiness is put in place, right? So with deservingness, though, it just is. It's your birthright. You just believe it. You have it. It's yours. You don't need anybody else. In my TED Talk, I use the example of with worthiness, right? You have your glass and you say, and you go out there and you go, this is what I think you should pay me. I'm worth this much. And you have your glass, and what you're doing when you do that, going out there with your empty container saying, this is what I'm worth, you're looking for everybody else, your clients, the world, your boss, whomever, to say they agree and pour into your container and fill the container for you to validate to you what you said you're worth. With deservingness, you decide, I'm worth $100, and you do the work. and you have the pitcher and you fill the container yourself. You are not waiting for other people outside of you to agree with you that this is your value. You deserve it. You do the work to fill the container yourself. That is the distinction. And I want to make sure that you get that, right? So worthiness requires validation and agreement from others. With deservingness, there's no external validation needed from others. Here's the thing. When you are deserving, who validates it? Who approves what you say your value is? This is the key distinction. I want you all to write it. God. God says, I deserve it. The universe says you deserve it. Source says you deserve it. That is who validates what you say you deserve, not another human being. That's what's amazing about this. So for me, I want to work on deservingness, not worthiness. Does that make sense? I want you guys, every single one of you watching, I want you to type, God says, or the universe, whatever your belief system is, I deserve it. All right. So here's what I want you. There we go. I love it. I love that you guys are on it. When you pursue worthiness, it's disempowering because you have no control. You give the control away to others. When you're trying to convince people of what you're worth, you give your power away. When you deserve it and you stand for what you deserve, it's empowering because you are the one who decides, and you get to evaluate if these people are a reflection of what you deserve or not. You get to evaluate if the money in your bank account and what you are, putting out there in the marketplace is what you deserve, not what you're worth, what you deserve. Because if you put out there what you're worth, you need other people to say yes. If you put out there what you deserve, God, the universe, source, brings you the people that will pay you what you deserve. You see why you want to go after deservingness? That's where it is. So I want you to look at this idea as well. When you're doing worthiness, you say, do I agree? Do you agree? I'm sorry. Do you agree that I'm worth it? That's kind of what's going on in your mind all the time. You're constantly wondering, do others agree that you're worth it? And all you're doing is you spend all your time trying to justify. How many of you do that? You are constantly trying to add more things on or talk and convince people of why you're worth it. Or you put together your packages and it's filled with a whole bunch of things because you want to prove that you're worth it. With deservingness, you just decide, because I deserve it, period. Because I deserve it, period. And I love saying that when I teach this. Like literally, I want you guys, that period is the most important part of that whole statement. Nothing comes after it. Because I deserve it, no validation needed. When you pursue worthiness, you're forever at the mercy of others to fill you up. When you stand for deservingness, you fill your own container and the universe makes it true. This is what I love about working on deservingness. When I work on deservingness, I'm asking God, I'm asking the universe, I'm asking source to make this value of me be true. And let me tell you, there is nothing more powerful than when you stand for what you deserve and then you get it from God and the universe. I can give you so many examples of this in all areas of my life that I've proven. When I chased worthiness, I overworked. I suffered immensely. I just had no confidence whatsoever. Just imagine if you live your life depending on other people to tell you, yes, I agree with your value. Just think about how disempowering that feels. Talk about people pleasing. You're constantly in this hamster wheel of just hoping and praying somebody comes along to agree with you. And I know we're talking about money, but I want you to look at this in every area of your life, right? When you're pursuing worthiness, you have the energy of, please agree with me. Please, will you please agree with me? I am begging you, person outside of me, will you please agree with me and pay me this much? When you have deservingness, you say, This is what is. This is what it is. It is what it is. This is my price. This is my price. It is what it is, right? You choose to pay it or not. I am telling you, when you can come from this place of deserving it and knowing like you know, and owning that you deserve it, so many things go away. And right before I bring these amazing people that are joining me this morning, I want to show you this little chart that I made, right? So hang on, let me get this in the camera view. So, the thing with deservingness, right? We all know we have worthiness issues. We know we have limiting beliefs. We know we have lack of confidence, self-confidence. We know we have a fear of success. And all of that ultimately shows up in our financial reality. And all these things we know, we are aware, we can see them playing out in our lives. The thing is, what's underneath all that? That you don't know until now is deserve. All of this comes down to you don't believe you deserve it, right? Just like God said to me, all of this comes down to you don't believe you deserve it. And when you work on deservingness, here's what happens. When you work on deserving it and owning that you deserve it, all of that, it goes away, right? You create the financial reality that you want, not the one you have, because you know you deserve it. Until you can believe that you deserve it, you're going to be struggling with all of these things. You're going to spend your time in self-worth stuff, limiting beliefs, lack of self-confidence, fear of success, financial reality that you don't want, because you don't believe you deserve anything else outside of those things and the box that those things keep you in. Does that make sense to you guys? So I want to share this with you. And this morning is going to be a little bit different, because usually we have these conversations and I kind of make you aware and send you off to go think about it and ponder, and I might even give you an affirmation. But this morning I'm going to take it even further, and I'm going to give you access to a course that I taught on deservingness. So hang tight, because you don't have to be in our big program to get this. One of the things that you guys know about me is I'm so committed to this work that when I enroll, it is for our 120-day program. Today, because this is so important to me that you understand this and you begin to do the work on it today, I'm actually going to give you access to a masterclass that I did just on deservingness. I want you to see how it plays out in your life. I want you to see how it sabotages you because you don't know it's even there. And I want you to be able to do something about it. We can talk all day long, but I want you to be able to do something about it. Does that make sense to you guys? Yeah? Awesome. All right, so I'm going to bring on Lamont first, who is, by the way, on his way to a theme park with his family and was so generous to say yes, he would do this. And I'm so grateful. So, Lamont, thank you for being so patient. And thank you for being on with us this morning.
Thank you for having me, Natasha.
And oh my gosh, when I decided I had this conversation a few weeks ago on Clubhouse. And when it was done and I heard Lamont share, I decided I have to do this on Facebook and I have to ask Lamont to come, because I can give you so many personal examples of this. But I know when you guys hear it from other people, it allows you to get it even at an even deeper level. And Lamont has the perfect story to share with you, the distinction between worthiness and deservingness. And so, Lamont, go ahead, take it away.
So, 2 weeks ago, I was joining a coaching program, and the coaching program was $6,500, and I didn't know where I was going to get it from. So I work with a team of fellas on Confidence Factors, the name of the show. And after the show, one of the guys asked me, "Do you need anything?" And I said $6,500. And he said, just joking around, he
Yeah.
said, you know, he brought out the fact that, you know, you could probably have it, but you don't know what you deserve. You don't know your value. And
Mm,
and I'm telling you this because you recently submitted a proposal for $2,000. When the person who got it saw it, she couldn't believe it. She thought it was going to be every bit of $6,000 to $7,000, and it was like, wow. Often what I realized is I haven't put a price tag, and I'm using air quotes here, haven't put a price tag, or I did not understand my experience, what I brought to the table, equated into deserving a certain amount of money.
Well,
Does that make
yeah, and I
sense?
think what you were explaining was you created the bid based on what you thought the work was worth,
Right. What it
right?
was
So
worth.
you
Right.
were going after, let me price this based on what I think it's worth, which is really what I think I'm worth, right?
Right. Yep.
And I think what your friend was saying to you was you don't even understand what you deserve, what you're valued at. And the other person was willing to pay you what
Right.
you are valued and what you deserve, but you don't even know to ask for it, right? You're over
Right.
here playing in, this is what I think it's worth,
Right. Right.
right?
So, right. And so what it did, it really had me reassess and reevaluate. And it brought back to mind your 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 coaching on deservingness. So what I've done is recently submitted a different proposal to a different company, and it was for less but less work, but it was what I felt I deserved, and they looked at the proposal and they said yes. So yeah. So it works, but yeah.
So, coming out of that experience, Lamont, like can you say, like when you look back at the mental work that goes into, I'm going to submit a proposal and I'm dilly-dallying around, are they going to think it's worth it, are they going to think I'm worth it, and the distinction, like all the mental energy that goes, and we beat ourselves up in the process, is the truth.
Yeah.
But God forbid you start thinking, well, I think I'm worth 2,000, but I'm going to submit it for 2,200. And then it's like, you're not worth that. They're not going to think you're worth that. And it's so much self-trauma. Think
Yep.
about that.
Yep.
Self-trauma is the best way I can describe it when you are playing over here in worth and worthiness, right? I mean, can you say coming out of that, now you're pricing based on what you deserve, right? How
Yes.
does that
Yes.
feel different?
Um, it takes me less time to do proposals because because I would sit on a proposal for an hour, a half an hour. Sometimes I say, okay, let me sleep on it. Because again, I didn't want the price to be so high to get a no. Now
Mm,
I know what I'm worth. I know I'm
mm,
I know what I deserve, not worth. And that's a
yeah,
mind shift. That's a mind shift in itself. Because
yeah,
when we think about worth, we're thinking, oh, this is what I'm worth, but it's beyond that. It's what I deserve. So that's what I'm it's a mind shift, and I'm constantly working on it. But I
yeah.
can submit proposals much faster now.
Yeah. Ooh, I love it. Thank you. Go have a
You're
great time
welcome.
with your family. And those of you that need any video production, pictures, Lamont is your guy. Find him on Facebook. Follow him. He's amazing. Mwah. Thank you,
Thank you,
Lamont.
Tasha. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
All right. So, guys, I told you I was going to send you my notes, right? So here's what I want you to look at. See this chart here? I want you to make a little chart. I want you to write my income. I wrote your income, but I want you to write my income, whether it's your current income or your desired income. And I want you to make this little T diagram. And I want you to decide right now your income. I want you, whatever the number is, let's say let's say it's 100,000 you make, right? Or 100,000 that you are deciding that you want to manifest. Whatever the number is, I want you to look at this and I want you to decide right now, is that what I'm worth or is that what I deserve? You're going to decide for yourself, where am I playing? Am I over here in worth and I'm saying $100,000 because that's what I think I'm worth? Or is that what I'm going to stand for what I deserve? Wherever you put that number, remember it's going to make all the difference in the world. If you put it under the worth category, remember you're going to have to deal with all of this stuff. limiting beliefs, lack of self-confidence, your fears of success. You're going to have a financial reality, whether you probably like it or not. That's all going to be determined by other people outside of you. When you stand for what you deserve, you're saying, this is what I deserve. And the only source that needs to make this true is the universe. It's God, right? It's source, not another human being. And that's who you want validating your value. You want God validating your value. When you stand for it, that's the only way that you're going to get it. So I want you to do that little chart, and I've got a whole bunch. That's why you want the notes, right? I have your prices, your bank balance. Look at your bank balance. Is it what you're worth or what you deserve? And I have a little stuck this in last minute, love, because this is where I learned this deservingness lesson. Was I looked at my relationship. Is this what I'm worth or is this what I deserve? So make sure, I'm going to tell you how to get that in a moment. If you want the notes, if you want to find out about the masterclass and how to get it. And oh, by the way, this has only been available to my private clients. So I'm giving everyone, the general public, access to this. And because I'm so committed to you doing this work, I've literally reduced the price to this to the lowest I could possibly go. The lowest I could go. So I want you to know, even before you see it, just know, jump on it, get it, do it right now, buy it, right? Because I don't make this available publicly. And this is certainly not the price for this 3-hour masterclass that you would get. So if you're interested in getting the notes and learning about the masterclass, go ahead and type the word deserve in the comments. Type the word deserve. Hang on one second. Type the word deserve in the comments if you want information on both. And you will get the picture of the notes, and you'll also get a link to register for the Deservingness Masterclass. It's a 3-hour masterclass. It has a workbook. I promise you, remember when I said at the beginning, you can't evolve from what you can't see? That's what's beautiful about this masterclass is I'm literally going to walk you through all the ways that you might have some deservingness patterns that are playing out, and I'm going to show you what to do about it. That is it. I'm going to show you how to change it and what to do about it. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and type the word deserve in the comments. If you don't have Facebook Messenger or you're watching on a different platform, you can also go to this website, tashachen.com/deserve. tashachen.com/the word deserve, and that will take you to the page also. But we're going back to the regular price. I asked the team just to do this for 48 hours, and then we're going back to the regular price if you ever come across this website again. So I just want to be transparent with you about that. I want those of you that resonated with this message, you know this is for you. I want you to take the action and get the course and do it today. Today or tomorrow, don't wait. All right? With that, Chisa, my love, can you join me? Here you are. And Chisa was on Clubhouse with me a few weeks ago too. And she shared a very interesting story with me about how this deservingness thing showed up for her. Now, I just want to tell you, by the way, it's summer. If you're all about looking amazing, feeling amazing, you know you need a health coach in your life, find her. Chisa, hang on a second. I want your name to come up. So let me get this away. So there's her name, Chisa Butler, on the bottom of the screen. You want to follow her on Facebook if you know, gosh, I want to get that bikini body because she certainly has it. Let me just tell you. But she has a whole holistic approach to transforming your health. And so if you know you need some support with that, don't try to do it on your own. Just connect with Chisa. So Chisa, can you share with everyone the story you told me where you realized that you had some deservingness stuff that was at play, and how it showed up and you were able to resolve it?
Yes. So I retired from the Air Force, and I felt like I needed to do something different. So that's how I got into being a health and life coach. And as the class ended, I was like, oh, they're offering a mastery class. I was talking to my husband, and he's like, oh, you're one of those people? So I had to take a couple breaths, like, okay, the old me would not have responded the way I did. The new me, I'm working on me. I was like, Before I go to laugh, please explain to me what you mean by you're one of those people. And he's like, I'm not saying that you don't that you can go to it. I just didn't know you were gonna keep going. And I was like, what? I don't I truly don't understand. Like I feel like I don't understand what you're saying. You're speaking a different language. And he's like, no, I thought you were gonna be done with the one thing and that's it. And I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna sign up. We'll see where that goes. But now he's all, he's supportive of it. And every time I do, the class stuff, but I truly had to take a breath. And I'm not sure if it was where he was at that time or where I was at the time of how it came out. But I decided that no matter what his response was, and I'm telling y'all that night, I still didn't feel like he was supportive. I was like, I'm not sure why you feel that way, but it's what I believe I deserve. And
Yeah.
I am going to do it for me because that's what I want to do. Regardless if I use it for anybody else, it's for me and it isn't for you to decide that I deserve it.
Woo! And by the way, let me be clear, we're not throwing hubby under the bus. And when
Oh,
and,
no.
and Chisa said it best. I'm not sure why he had that response. And I can tell you, he had that response as a mirror of you. Right? So the fingers always go back to us, right? But I wanted Chisa to share that example because so many times when we are faced with other people saying things that we get upset about, like you're trying to tell me what I'm worth or what I'm valued at, and we're doing all that, we're getting upset with other people. It's because we have to resolve what we deserve. We have to stand for what we deserve. And so all the other people outside of you are just showing up as a mirror of your deservingness stuff, But that's what's beautiful is she got the opportunity in that experience. And that's what I want you to do. When you see that stuff happening, just like Lamont, see it as an opportunity for you to go, well, what do I deserve though? What do I deserve? And now I'm going to stand for what I deserve. And as with Chisa, hubby came right along, right? He was like, once she decided she deserved it, right? And she was doing it for her because she deserved it, not because she needed his approval, but because she deserved it. Here he came along in support of her. That's what I'm telling you, work on deservingness. Chisa, thank you so much for sharing that. I love that because it was just from such a different angle, especially when we see ourselves in relationships too, our partnered relationships, like our spouses or, whomever you have that intimate relationship with. Man, let me tell you, that's where your deservingness stuff will show you where you are with it. And the same way it happens in the relationship, it happens with your money. It just happens everywhere else, So you want to really work on this. Thank you, Chisa, for sharing that. Thanks for being on with us. I know the kids are like, you're like trying to get the kids. All right, my love. Thank you. So I have one last story, and I think Denise is on watching as well. Denise was on our Facebook Live. I'm sorry, she was on our Clubhouse when we talked about this, Denise McKeesey, and she shared her story where she had submitted a bid the week we were doing this conversation for some work with someone. And when she charged them, she gave them the bid with the full price. And they said, and then she said to them, but since we're going to do the work over a period of time, go ahead and pay me half. And as soon as she said it, she said she felt within her spirit, why am I asking for only half? Like, that is not right. It's not right of me. I'm going to do the work. I should ask for the whole thing. And she realized that it was a deservingness issue, that within herself, she felt like until she did the whole body of work, she didn't deserve to be paid for it. So you see how all the sneaky ways that this deservingness comes up? Wasn't about, she knew what she was worth and she knew she was worth the price she was paying, but she didn't believe she deserved to be paid until it was all done. That's on her. So here's what she did. She went back to the client and said, I'm sorry, I gave you the wrong terms. I really, I really need this to be paid in full before we begin. And the client said to her, yeah, I was wondering why you were having me pay half up front when I fully understood I was expected to pay the whole thing before we got started. So I just love that example. And Denise, if you're on, thank you for sharing that with us last time we did this, because I want you guys to see when you are not standing for what you deserve, it completely causes you to do things that's less than what you're valued at. You are creating circumstances financially for yourself at less than what you're valued at because you don't know how to stand for what you deserve. That's what I wanted. That was my message for you all this morning. I hope and pray that this really got you guys to look at this. I want you to get the notes. I want you to look at the distinction between worthiness and deservingness and really own it. When you can own your deservingness, all the other things on that little diagram I had for you, your self-worth stuff, your limiting beliefs, your lack of self-confidence, all of that goes away because you know what? You stand and you say, this is what I deserve. And life gives it to you. But if you're over here playing in what you're worth and waiting for other people to agree with you, it's a suffering hamster wheel. I promise you. And you already know it. You're living it. But if you stand for what you deserve and you say, this is what I deserve, period, you get it. Life gives it to you. And that's where you want to live. All right. So if you guys want the notes, if you want to check out the Deservingness Masterclass, go ahead and go to that website, or you can type the word deserve in the comments and we'll get all of that to you. You want to check your Facebook Messenger, right? That's where we send you the information. So check Facebook Messenger and you'll get the link and the notes and just have at it. Just do it. Do it for yourself. All right. I love you guys. Have a great Monday. Have a great rest of the week. Practice deservingness this week and see the evidence show up in your life. It can happen that fast. I promise you. Bye, everyone. Have a great Monday. I will see you all next Monday morning at 8 a.m. I'll see you here next Monday morning at 8 a.m. But have a great week. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.